My name's Josiah Moat. Started the business with Derek a little over 15 years ago. Father of two. We homeschool our kids. My daughter's super into piano, and my son's into wrestling. On the home front, we have a small farm, and get to enjoy that with my kids.
My name is Derek Kinder, co-founder as well. Josiah and I have been friends since second grade and ended up going to college together. That's where we started kind of working our way through college, learning the trades, all the things we didn't want to do. Roofing was at the top of it at one point until we learned how to do it more effective and efficiently. Currently role as visionary, so working on things as far as customer satisfaction, employee satisfaction, how do we continue to grow, things like that.
That's awesome. How about you, Matt?
My name is Madison Plemons. Been with the company about 12 years now. As of 2025, taking over the role as CEO of the company. Came in as a college student, 2012, like I said, looking for a summer job, just getting up on the roofs, actually putting the shingles on, and decided to never leave.
So how did Midwest Roofing come to fruition? Like, well, where did it come from? You said you were in college and you were coming up with plans.
Yes. So I started as a construction management major in college, and about halfway through I switched to an entrepreneurship major, and Derek started as an accounting major, and we both ended up switching to entrepreneurship majors. And the last 2 years of college, we I think was at our junior year of college, we formed an LLC, and at that point we were doing whatever we could do to pay the bills. So we were painting houses, building decks, doing all kinds of stuff. And our senior year of college is when we really kind of honed in on roofing, and we actually did a thesis paper our senior year on starting a roofing company in Missouri and what it would look like if we got 1% of the Missouri business. So I'll kind of let Derek tell a little bit of the rest of the story.
No, that's a great intro. The thesis statement and the 1% of the 65,000 roofs replaced a year was definitely we thought an achievable goal at the time. Obviously doing 1% of the entire Missouri market's a pretty big feat in retrospect. Once we got into graduating college full time, we realized one of us probably needed to learn how to do the installation side. One of us needed to learn how to sell it. Naturally, I could pick up a bundle relatively easy compared to Josiah, so I ran on the roof side. We did that for about a year and a half, 2 years that way. To where he was the primary salesperson, I was the primary foreman running the crews, and then we kind of learned the processes of how to sell, how to produce. From there, we started slowly delegating a few things out to a foreman, if you will, and then we actually switched roles a few years down the road to where I ended up being the sales manager, and you went back to the production side. But I would say for a solid 7 years or so, we stayed pretty consistent as far as not delegating a ton of stuff. Now, this was our baby. This is what we graduated and said this is our future. It was hard for us to let go of things. But about 2019, we met a consultant who helped us get into EOS and be able to establish those roles and responsibilities within the company, and then really start offloading and handing some of those roles and responsibilities off to help us grow to the next level, which ultimately led us to having him as our CEO here, which has been an awesome blessing for us for sure. Being a family, not only at home, but at work is really important to us. So making sure people enjoy where they work and who they work with is a big deal. Because if you're happy as an employee with who you work with and where you're working, you're going to do better job, which ultimately leads to a better product and service for the customers. So we do a really good job of making sure we hire people that we think are going to fit. And if they end up not fitting, making sure we get them to a new company that they can fit in. So not only for their benefit, but for ours and the customers. It really helps us whenever things get tough. So like you're always going to have kind of hurdles, if you will, in business. When those things pop up, if you've got that camaraderie that you're really rock solid on, you can come back to that personal relationship you have with those people, lean on them, have them lean on you, and it really makes things so much easier and more fun to work with.
I feel like the family culture really started to kind of start back at where it started was back when we were small, and there was only 10 or 12 employees, and we spent a lot of time as a group working together, and a lot of time, on the off time, hanging out and things like that. If Derek and I weren't at work working on something, we had one of our vehicles that we were installing a vehicle wrap on at his house or something like that. So we spent a lot of time together as a company, as a family. Kind of once we realized, hey, this is an actual culture, like how do we make this a family culture and continue that? And I feel like one of those ties right into one of our core values of team player. So that's kind of that core value has kind of been right along in my mind fitting along with that family culture and trying to keep that family culture in the business?
So for me, being able to come into work and, like Derek was saying, just enjoy the people that I'm around, that it makes everybody's life a lot better. Theirs, mine, everything, whenever we have that. But then, yeah, when it comes to aligning with our goals, like where we're at and where we're going and how we're going to get there, having everybody having that real tight family feel, we're all chugging along to that same goal. We might have individual goals outside of work and our personal areas, but typically speaking, if we're all rowing in the same direction, that tends to blend in with it because we're like championing each other and supporting each other in our personal lives as well as professional. And as we've grown, like Josiah said, we started off building that culture when we were, eight employees in the company. And now with, 50 plus employees, we as a leadership team really focused in, and we have pretty in-depth discussions on a frequent basis on how do we keep that feel, how do we keep that family-oriented and fun atmosphere at work so that it is a place where people enjoy coming to be at versus dreading to be at. So
Right now, we've got 4 locations we're working out of: Kansas City, Columbia, Eldon, and Springfield. Likely, we're looking to add 2-3 different locations to that. And what that's going to kind of depend on is the market's there for sure. But what it'll really depend on is talent. So making sure we continue to cultivate our current people. And whenever they're ready to kind of step up to that next level and be able to run a team of their own, we'll be ready to pull the trigger for them. So that's why Josiah on the CFO's position is looking at future locations, future sites for actual builds and things like that. That way, when they're ready, we've already kind of got the blueprints ready to rock and roll and have that next community service as well. And one of the things we really pride ourselves on is being a part of that community. So once we step in, we're there for life. We want to be able to have people drive by constantly and say, we did that roof. That's Mrs. Jones there, that's Heather's there. And we're proud to have that on the roof, and it's still there, and they're happy with what they got.
one of my most rewarding parts of this job, one of my favorite parts, is being able to bring people in that have worked in other places that maybe they didn't enjoy their job, they didn't enjoy who they were working around, and creating that real tight family atmosphere, but also providing work out there that everyone in that organization and our family can be proud to stand behind. It just creates an entire new feel for people that want to come to work. They want to be around those people that they're with, and they're really proud to be part of that Midwest family. It's helping the community from employees, homeowners, organizations. It's something that we're really passionate about.
Yeah, so one of ours is the roof rescue program, and we started that probably 7 or 8 years ago. We're like, hey, well, we've got a skill, we've got a talent. What can we do to help communities in our family? And I remember doing our first little video shout out on Facebook of asking for nominations of people in the communities, and I think we got 20 or 30 nominations, and it was really hard to comb through them and figure out which one to choose. And we chose a camp family, I believe it was in Max Creek, wasn't it? And I think after doing that first one and seeing just how appreciative that family was, and that quickly became something we were like, hey, this is something we want to continue doing every year. And we've grown to, I think we're doing 2 or 3 a year now. That's a really awesome thing that we do.
So we have our raised garden program we do. We take nominations in on the vet side. So people that were in the military will come out to the property, install raised garden beds, fill it with compost, bring vegetation. They'll help us with that process. We get to kind of know them a little bit, their story, their family as well. It's one of the most rewarding experiences I get to have on a year-to-year basis. My mom retired military in the Army, so it's got a little extra special tug on my heartstrings, if you will. But they're super appreciative, awesome people. And at the end of the day, you get to build something that continues to grow for them as well.
One of the charity nonprofits down at Lake of the Ozarks called the Changing Table. It's an organization that provides diapers and feminine products to babies, mothers in need, young females and stuff in the school systems. It's something that we've gotten really involved with. We really enjoy the cause as far as supporting that, but on a month-to-month basis, there are no less than 1 to 2 days we have 8 to 10 employees out at their warehouse helping stock stuff, unload trucks. We help host and support several events for them, auctions, dinners, golf tournaments, things like that throughout the year. It's one that we've kind of really stepped up with as far as putting our stamp on is this is who we're involved with and what we support in that community. So one of the ways that we view it is being involved in the community and help building it up is similar to whenever we're going out and doing roofs for people in the community, doing work that we can stand behind for years to come. So all the parts and pieces and components of a roofing system that sometimes get overlooked by companies that are coming in and trying to be the cheapest bid and different things like that. That's not in any way, shape, or form what we're trying to do. We're going to go in and diagnose everybody's roofing system, making sure that we're tackling all the most vulnerable areas, but then also sitting down and visiting with each homeowner and figuring out what are their goals. Like, how long are they going to live in the house? Do they have other plans to do other renovations, different things like that? And that will all determine what system that we actually offer them as far as the parts and pieces, type of shingle, different things like that, that's going to fit their needs once and got to have the best. Because having that stable roofing system protecting their biggest asset is part of helping the community just as much as the giving back part is.
I think the visionary side on my end, being able to look at how do we improve our customer experience and then our actual employee experience are two of my favorites. And then building processes and systems and spreadsheets and reports is right up there as well. So that takes a chunk of it, if you will. Kind of.
I would follow along with that. Derek's what we jokingly call a quick start. So he's always coming with like these awesome ideas, and we're getting he's bouncing those ideas off of us. So it's always exciting to see what Derek is going to bring to the table idea wise. On my end, as the CFO, I'm looking at hey, what market are we moving into? What does it make sense financially for us to do as a company? Are we renting this location? Are we going to find a location to purchase? And just making sure that we're growing, but we're also growing in a stable, safe way.
And on my end, it's I do a lot of different things, but my favorite part, like I said earlier, is what I would sum up to be talent acquisition and building people up. So bringing somebody into the company and working with them to show them realistically that they're capable of more than what they thought they were, providing a really fun but yet challenging atmosphere for them to change their life in a way. So somebody like heavily involved on the sales end of things up until now, bringing those people in and seeing them flourish and change their lives, purchasing their first home whenever before working here they weren't in a financial situation to be there, or even champion them because we understand it's not everybody's dream to work at Midwest Roofing for the rest of their life. So one thing that we do that's a little bit different is if somebody does have a different dream, champion them in that. So whatever that is, we have several people that used to work for us that now own their own business in some way, shape, or form. And we were that stepping stone for them. And 3 of them specifically, Derek, Josiah, and myself actually sat down and combed through the books of the businesses that they were looking to buy or giving them advice on how to get started and stuff. But yeah, just building that talent up and making sure that everybody is striving to be their best self. That's a huge part of what I do.